Hello, my name is Reagan Boggs, and welcome to Reagan's World. Today is January 23rd, 2023. We are watching a moment in our history right now that is unlike anything we've ever seen. We are watching people erode and change history and taking down a monument like it's going to change our past. To me, some monuments are not there to remind us of a glorious past. Some are there as a cautionary tale to remind us of the evil in men's hearts and souls, as a reminder of a past that we don't want to go back to. After I graduated from high school, I was blessed enough to go on a school trip to Europe, where I got to go to the Anne Frank house in Amsterdam. I'll be honest with you, I fought back tears the whole time. I looked at her diaries and the closet that she lived in, with the flowers that she had cut out of magazines and taped all over the walls, trying to make one bright spot in an evil, demon-filled world around her. If we forget the evilness and atrocities of Hitler's and his minions such as Josef Mendeleev, and the hell-on-earth reality of the concentration camps, then we start to lose the facts of her story and why it's so tragic. I look at our Civil War history in much the same way. See, I grew up in Chickamauga, Georgia. It was the second bloodiest battle of the Civil War, only behind Gettysburg. It's estimated that nearly 35,000 men died in the 3-day battle. As a child, I would have family picnics and school field trips in the Chickamauga battlefield. School field trips to the local cemetery where they'd show us unmarked graves of 7 slave children. I can't tell you how many times I watched movies like Glory in school. I say this because none of this made me proud of Confederate history. All of it made me wonder how a person could have a soul so evil and black, and how they could hate someone based solely on the color of their skin. Without realizing how horrendous slavery was, without remembering how evil some of the people were, without remembering the atrocities, we lose something that's even more important. We lose what made people like Harriet Tubman absolute heroes. If we forget the evils that she stood up against, then we also forget that she risked her life for every person that she rescued. When I look at a monument of someone in history, I don't look at it with pleasure, but with the resolve that I will do everything in my power not to let history repeat itself. I remind myself that standing up for what is right sometimes means paying with our lives, but it's worth it if we make the world a better place. George Orwell said, "The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history." Overcoming our past as a person and as a country should be a unifying experience. It doesn't mean that we are perfect. It doesn't mean that we stop trying to be better or improving as a person, nation, or civilization. It just means that we should unite knowing that if we can overcome an institution like slavery, we can overcome any issue or problem that presents itself if we try. I'm going to use this as a reminder again today to say, be the change that you want to see.
You and I have lived too long with this miracle to properly be appreciative. Freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. And those in world history who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again. Knowing this, it's hard to explain those among us who even today would question the people's capacity for self-government. I've often wondered if they will answer, those who subscribe to that philosophy, if no one among us is capable of governing himself, then who among us has the capacity to govern someone else? Using the temporary authority granted by the people in increasing number lately, at all levels of government have sought control even of the means of production, as if they could do this without eventually controlling those who produce. And always they explain this as necessary to the people's welfare. The deterioration of every government begins with the decay of the principle upon which it was founded. This was written in 1748, and it's as true today as it was then. Government is the people's business, and every man, woman, and child becomes a shareholder with the first penny of tax paid.